What's up guys, Wazy here from MrWazyShots, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to record videos like this.
Hello, my name is Jalen Dunham of Bernard Football Club, and this is how I train. I'm training to be a professional soccer player. I got some of my guys here today at the lab. We're here, training. Today we went through technical agility and attacking drills. We did some 2v2, went to goal. We really trained hard today. We've been doing this pretty much all for like 2 months probably, but I got a nice group of guys and we're out here just trying to chase our dreams, chase our goals, and getting it done day in and day out. Going to the top, for real.
Alright guys, so a little backstory on this video. The video was shot for Jalen Dunham. As he said in the video, his Instagram tag is right there if you would like to follow him. He is a soccer player who is training to become a professional. I woke up one morning and I said to myself, hey, there's nothing I have to shoot today, so let me try and get something done. So I contacted him with the intention of, hey, I want to shoot a video of somebody who is in the athletic field, sport like soccer, whatever, just somebody who plays sports of some sort. I want to do like a little workout session, but I didn't want it to be in the gym. So for this video, that's the first tip right there. Find like a subject matter that you want to record and then acquire that person or thing so that you can be able to shoot the video for that person or thing. So my subject here was Jalen, and I decided, hey, Jalen, is there a way we can do this, we can blah blah blah. And then he was like, oh yeah, cool, I'm cool with that. So remember, you should try and go to people who will be more like accepting to you recording them rather than people who you would have to like chase all the time, because then you're wasting time trying to find somebody to record the video rather than actually recording the video. So I got with him and it took us literally less than a week to figure out, hey, I'm gonna be free then and you're gonna be free then, so let's make the video happen that day. So there wasn't that much pre-planning on both our ends besides when we're both going to be available. However, on my end, in my mind, I already had like the shots I wanted, what I wanted to do. So let's get into it. All right, so if you watch the video, you'll see that the video has this interview piece right here. Now this is the close-up of this interview piece. However, I hope that was a close-up, because if I go to the wide and it's not the wide, I'd be a little upset there. Where's the wide? Okay, there we go. There's the wide, right? So this wide shot is literally the same thing as this close-up shot. All I did was literally crop in here. All I did was crop in here. Kept the shoes, of course, for some foreground to make the close-up shot. It's the same shot. So for this video, I had in mind, hey, let me do an interview of Jalen, because then whatever he says in the interview will play into what I actually record for the video. However, you can do this one of two ways, or whatever way you want, but you can either record the interview before you get the B-roll, or you can record the B-roll before you get the interview. However, if you record all your B-roll before you get the interview, you may miss out on some things that you should have gotten during the B-roll session, right? Because what he says in his interview, or what the person you're recording says in their interview, can motivate you to pick certain B-rolls that would overlay when you go to edit the video. That way it's not just a talking head the whole time, because you want really the video to be telling a story. That's what you really want for every one of your videos, to tell a story. To tell a story based on what's happening. Tell a story based on what's being heard, what's being said. So for this, I did it the opposite way because I didn't have like the time and I wasn't thinking about it. So I shot my B-roll before I shot the actual interview. Now I got lucky because what I did was I shot literally every single thing they did, which is tedious, but not really, because then I have like enough footage so I don't have to like worry about it later. However, if I did an interview first, I would have like a little list of like, I need to grab this, and this. So yes, when you shoot the interview first, you have an idea of what to grab for B-roll, but that also limits you because then your mind is set on specific things that you heard. But if you do it the opposite way, you shoot as much as possible just so you have enough coverage for everything that could happen. So when I went to shoot the interview, my idea was, hey, let's get an interview of him. So whatever your subject is, you want to keep it simple, especially if it's like free. Now, if you have time, yes, you can go extravagant, but you want to keep it simple and quick, but still get a great video out of it, because what you're doing here is for practice, so that the next person who comes to you as a client, you have enough background research to make their video to the extent that you want to go or that they want to go. So for this one, I said, hey, let me do the interview on the soccer field, right? Make sure the goalpost is in the back so you know, hey, they're playing soccer ball's in the back still. And then these people did not have to be here. They didn't have to be here for the interview. However, I knew it would help for like the whole shot to add things in the foreground. So you want to really make sure you have foreground elements in your interviews for stuff like this. It's not necessary, but it helps the shot. So keeping these foreground elements and these background elements, and also making sure my background is not overexposed and distracting from, let me change this back to him. It's not distracting from the subject, right? I picked a place where you can tell, hey, he's a soccer player doing an interview. He obviously has his cleats on still. And then you can also tell, hey, like they just played soccer or whatever the sport is, right? They're in that same area. However, when I went to shoot it, like I'm saying, he's not overexposed. If you check out his face here, he's not overexposed. This is probably the hottest part on his face. And if you check out the white in his socks, you can still see the detail. That's not overexposed either. So you want to get great shots as you're doing this. Just try to make sure, like I said again, if you're outdoors, things like this are not too washed out. Like these little whites are fine, but the tree is covering most of it, so it's not a problem. But if I go back in the video a little bit, I can see, right there, I just passed it, right? You can see these right here. Now, yes, I'm saying don't do it, but these right here, these skies, I am writing with this pen like I don't know how to write. But those skies are really blown out. Like if I could bring this up with a histogram, these skies will definitely be all the way blown up. But for that shot right there, it kind of doesn't really matter because he's in action. So like if I play it, you can't, like, you wouldn't really boom go to the sky, because it's like a quick action. So I'm gonna pause this here and go back here. So after you've gotten an interview or gotten all your B-roll shots, just make sure everything correlates, right? And then when you go get the B-roll shots, like say for example for this, right? It's soccer, and I know it was supposed to be training, so I made sure I got B-roll shots of the hurdles they were putting down, them literally every single training, like any single training they were doing, I made sure I got shots of it as much as possible. And of course, if you have access to it, don't be afraid not to use it. The drone shots, right? This is a drone shot. I do not own a crane, so this is a drone shot. This right here was a drone shot, and then that's just regular stuff. But if you notice throughout the video, except for of course the drone shot, because I can't really have a foreground element, although if you really want to look at it, these could be considered foreground elements, and then that's like the main focus. I'm gonna change that to this, and then this is the main focus. So technically yes, but if you go to all the other shots, everything has some, like, see right there is just a little pole. So try to keep things in the foreground as much as you can without overdoing it, just to make for an interesting shot. You don't want to always have bland shots of like just the person by themselves. Like see this guy right here throwing the ball, I could have erased him out of the shot, but he makes for a better shot to point to him, because there's a foreground, there's a background, and then there's our subject, which if I change the color here, there's our subject, right? So then you make sure you do the interview, of course, with the foreground, same idea here. Because then see, when you zoom in for the interview, we still have these legs that are poking out, right? They're helping to make the shot more interesting. And then when we go back to the B-roll shots, these ones, we still have that foreground element there. For this is just him. For this, see the soccer ball. The soccer ball, this person, and then this is not him. But in the video, what he's talking of makes for an easy, hey, okay, bring this shot in. So when you get all the B-roll, when you listen to the interview as you go to edit, it will make sense for where you put them. If that, I should probably erase this. It would make sense for where you put each B-roll. And also, don't be afraid to get as many different angles as you can, like of anything. So take, for example, for these right here, there's more than one shot of those. So there's the side one for those, for this little this little ladder exercise here. Slow, there you go. See, there's a more close-up shot of it. This is just literally the same ladder exercise, but different shots of it. Probably erase this over here. All right, so then when you go to edit this, so now you have the shot, you have the subject that you want, you have the person, you have the story, right? So then you use that interview and make the story out of it with the B-roll plus the interview. Because you don't want a video, if you watch this video, he shows up for probably less than 50% of the video. So see, when he says, hello, my name, I probably shouldn't have done that. But when he says, hello, my name is Jalen Dunham, you see he's showing up. Like in the beginning, you don't even see the interview, right? Bring the song in, get you up tempo, whatever, and then you bring the interview back in, right? Jalen Dunham, Benaria Football Club, right? You can see, you know who Jalen is if you go back, right? With the edits. Now, this video is not going to be about editing, but with the edits, you can tell who Jalen Dunham is. In the beginning, there's no context. It's just, you know, soccer playing, boom, boom. And then when he says, hey, my name is Jalen Dunham, you see, this is Jalen Dunham. I put this there on purpose to make sure you know this is Jalen. So now for the rest of the video, you know who the subject is, right? So now after he's labeled himself, you see him quite a few times. You know, oh, okay, it's about Jalen Dunham, right? And then that shot right there. So let me go back in regards to shots right there, right? This shot, this is a nice POV of like what the other defender would see if they're trying to track him, like trying to defend him. So there we go. Let me press play here. There you go. Boom. Drone shot. And then this little, like I said, everything literally has almost a foreground element to it. And then we have the interview. And then what I was saying about when they say something, right? When the interviewee says something, well, not the interviewer, the person you interview and says something, and you have a B-roll for it, it makes for a better edit, because I had a B-roll for the soccer field. And he said he and his guys are here at the lab, right? The lab is the soccer field. Most people wouldn't understand what the lab is, but since I have the video of the lab, I can show, hey, here's the lab in the B-roll, and then people can get a better idea of what's happening in the video, what's being talked about, if there's some things that are like disconnected for the viewer at least. But if you have the visual, they'll understand it. So like, say for example here, this shot right here of the sweat drop, right? This was longer, that shot was longer than it plays out for. But I know for a fact this little sweat droplet happens like in the video, so I made sure I timed it for what he's saying. And then when it came to the edit, so if you listen to the song, when it came to the edit, the song really pushed everything, because if you go to the beginning, the song and the pace really pushes the video of like how I wanted it to go. And then when it hits a beat, that's when I brought him back in. Well, not brought him back in. That's when I first introduced his voice, so you guys can hear like, oh, okay, Jalen's here. And then every time he stops talking, or every time I cut him off, because in the interview he's going for one, long interview. But every time I feel as though, okay, we can't just keep having him talk, I break it off a little bit somewhere where he actually makes a pause in his voice, and then I bring the volume of the music back up, and then put in more B-roll. So it's not just you hearing him talk and videos overlay. and then the beat, of course, is pushing those edits and those paces, and then we stop, bring it back in, but the song is still playing on the bottom if you listen very carefully. So you have the whole storyline of, you know, hey, I find my subject. Hey, I know what I want to do. Hey, I get in contact with them. Make sure I get everything together. These are like the pre-planning, of course, to get the actual shoot done. Then you find the person. Then you say, hey, let's do it here because I feel like this place is going to be the best to do this since it's you and you do this and this is like in your niche. So let's do the video here. And then you pick that place and then you say, okay, I'm going to shoot this in a spot that has the best lighting, right? So if you did this in the daylight, you don't have to worry about setting up lights. Yes, you do have to worry about the sun, but you can get an ND filter. That should help. If you have enough money, you can get a giant 4x diffuser. But I don't think we're going to be doing that. So yeah, you just shoot daytime with your regular camera, lens, ND filter. You should come up to the right exposure here. So after you've gotten all that done, you shoot your grade interview, everything. You also have to figure out like how you want to end the video. And also you have to figure out how you want to tell that story. So for this, I told it in a fast-paced story because what the sport actually is calls for a faster paced edit, and what he's saying doesn't call for a faster paced edit, but what he's saying I can break up to make for faster paced edits in between what he's saying. So every time he talks, if you hear, I break him off a little bit, break up the volume of the audio, and then keep going with a little more B-roll on a faster pace, and then bring it back in, slow it down a little bit, and then pick it back up, and then bring it back down, and then slow it back up. So just that up and down, up and down. You don't want the viewer to get bored or like get accustomed to one pace, because then they'll be like, they'll be waiting for the next thing to happen. But unless you break them off randomly, not too crazy, but if you break them off randomly at the right times, it makes for a better, like, oh, damn, I didn't expect that to happen. And then, boom, go back into it, and then, boom, to get back out. So to end that video, see right there, I made sure he talked about, you know, hey, I want to like practice. I'm practicing soccer. Here's what we did today. I showed footage of every single thing they did today. I'm not doing more like showing you guys more in the edit here because there's a little more to that, and I don't want this video to be already long. Well, it's already long, and I don't want this video to be longer than I want it to be. So I'm just gonna show you guys, like, you know, how I ended this video, at least to make sense for the story. He's a soccer player. Scoring a goal is a good, like, yay for soccer. Like, so when I decided to end the video where I wanted the video to end, at least when he kicks this ball into the goal, you can tell he's kicking into the goal, like it's a goal, but the beat cuts it. So it's like, see, the beat cuts it to bring in my credits. Now these credits are old. That's another, I guess, advice I'd give you guys. Try not to just slap your tags on everything, because then in the future it may be old and then you end up like, oh man, but that's like my old logo and I don't even use that no more. Now this video look crazy because I don't even use that logo. So try not to do that. But this is my old logo. If you pay attention, this is my old logo. However, the beat cuts and brings in my credits. See that? It goes boom, 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 boom. And then I bring it back to him because there is something he says in the end that's very key. And I feel like it's a good, oh man, now I can't wait to see what really happens in his life, what really happens with his training as a soccer player. So
going to the top, for real.
We're going to the top. That's what he said. We're going to the top. After all the practice, after all he's told you, his goal is he's going to the top. And that's what you want for the videos. When you make videos like this, you want to tell a story. This video tells a story of this guy. You know, I didn't go too much details into the interview because I made him know, like, hey, I can't get B-roll from high school and everything in here because I don't really have, like, I wouldn't say the time, because I could have the time, but I don't really want this video to be very long. So we're going to keep it with, like, today, what's happening today, what you're doing today, what's the purpose of today. No extra backstory. So he just gave us today what we did, blah, 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 gave him the, you know, shot the B-roll of what he said and then put it together, but made sure in the beginning, it had the beginning of who he is, what he's doing, where he's trying to go, and then in the end, he gives you a message of what he has for himself. He's going to the top. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned some things. If you didn't, please let me know in the comment section below. And if you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comment section below. However, until next time, stay creative and stay tuned. Hit the bell icon, subscribe, whatever one you do. Do it in reverse, I don't know, but I'll see you next time. Stay creative. Again, I don't know what just happened there, but I'll see you guys in the next one.